Well, hello, everybody. It's your friend CL King coming to you live from the High Definition Studios here in Impactville. I am sitting high atop the Ruth E. Plowden Legacy Chair. And for those of you who do not know who Ruth E. Plowden is, you should acquaint yourself with her because she is my foster mother. She is the lady who is the reason why we all get to gather in this place called Impactville. She rescued me as a foster kid back when I was 14 years old. I had been in foster care 2 other times and in 3 other group homes. And she took me in her home at age 14 and said, "Listen, Chris, I know you've been through a lot. I know you've been through a lot of turmoil, tragedy, and adversity. But no matter the adversity, you still can make it." That's what she told me all the way back in like 1988, 89. And here we are today, ladies and gentlemen. So we're thankful that you have taken time out of your very, very hectic, busy, go, non-stop, breakneck speed schedule to be with us on this sunny Carolina afternoon. It is sunny now. I must tell you that it was not sunny earlier. It was raining literally London bridges and Empire State Buildings. It was crazy raining, y'all. And that's what you get here in the eastern of Carolina. You can get 99-degree temperatures one day. You can get a hailstorm the next. And then you can get a tsunami, just for good measure. And so we're thankful for everybody that will listen to this later, that will tune in, that will catch us on the rebroadcast. But Impacting Life 24/7 is a show that has literally been downloaded in almost, I think, all but 2, every state of the union. All but 2. We almost there, y'all. And over 40 countries around the world, carried on, that's right, 42 different platforms. And so we say to you today, welcome to our noonday special of Impacting Life 24/7. I'm your host, CL King. Greg Smith, the VP, is away handling business that only he can handle. And so we're thankful that you all have taken time, like I said, out of your schedule. I know all of you are maybe eating lunch or trying to stuff that lunch in, trying to get a snack, maybe taking a nap before you go back into the grind of the day. And so I'm here with you to talk to you about a very, very important topic to me. It's an important topic to me. I believe it's an important topic to you. And I will not say that flippantly. I believe that it is. But please understand that this topic has taken some ebbs and flows. And that is the topic of drug use, not only amongst adults, but amongst teenagers and students. And I and Greg and our team, our staff, have developed a campaign that we're just going to make it a lifelong campaign called I Won't Try Drugs. That's right. I won't try drugs. Why? Because we want to try to get the young people not to even try them. We're in a position and a situation in society now where experimentation can cost you. Experimentation can be deadly. And so we don't want young people to even try drugs. And I'll share that with you on the screen here. I want you guys just to see the overarching kind of campaign and what it looks like for all of you to see. I won't try drugs. And what we do in this campaign is we try to teach young people, moms and dads, students, adults about the dangers of drugs. But then I'm going to go and I'm going to peel back the onion a little bit later on in the show about one drug in particular that has really gripped our nation where there's almost 200 people a day dying from it, and that is fentanyl. So let's hop right into it, because I know everybody's busy and I don't want to waste your time. But when we say I won't try drugs, why is it important that we teach our kids that experimentation with drugs is something of yesterday, and we do not want them experimenting with them? Why is that? Because there are so many today in 2023, there are so many unknowns associated with drug use. And there are so many unscrupulous people, not that a person selling drugs has any scruples, but there are so many more unscrupulous people that will do anything to get a dollar and try anything to hook somebody so that they become a repeat customer. So in drugs, the acronym D.R.U.G.S, the D, we want people to understand that drugs are extremely dangerous. And there are dangers associated with drug use. And what we have to try to articulate is the dangers associated with it. Now, does that mean that we live in fear? That doesn't mean that we live in fear, but that means we respect the dangers associated with it. See, here's the problem, is that I respect a chainsaw, or I respect a circular saw. It can make me a beautiful deck. It can also delimb me, right? So on one hand, you would have to say, listen, I don't want to operate in fear of the circular saw. No, because the circular saw is a tool, but it also presents a danger. There's an inherent danger associated with the saw just by virtue of its nature. But with drugs, there are no benefits associated with them. And really, the more you use, the more dangers are exposed in your life. So it's not about being fearful. It's about being understanding about the relevancy of the dangers. And the dangers associated with drugs are multiple. There's a whole litany of dangers associated with them. And that's why we try to tell moms and dads, students, college age folks, teenagers, high schools, middle schoolers, hey, listen, don't try them. Don't try them the first time. See, because if you don't try them the first time, you don't have to get unhooked. You don't have to go to detox. You don't have to worry about getting arrested. You don't have to worry about losing all of your possessions in life if you don't try them the first time. It's always in the try that we find the spiraling out of control behavior develops. It's usually in the try, because maybe the try will bring a feeling of euphoria. Maybe the try will bring some happiness. Maybe the try will numb some pain that you're experiencing. Yes, but it's extremely dangerous. Because the first try could be the last try. That's why I want everyone in here that's watching to understand with me that we're not going to try. We're not going to try drugs, because the D it stands for dangerous. Now, I don't know if I have a pointer. I used to have a pointer up here. Let's see here. What does this thing do? Yeah, there we go, right here. So the D, if you can see that on the screen, you might be able to see the red circling around that D. Yeah, right there. That D means that drugs are dangerous. They're not items to be respected, especially illicit drugs, especially illegal drugs, especially drugs that are getting people hooked and put on Skid Row. They're not things to be respected. They're things to be avoided, right? See, the difference between the saw and the drug, the illegal drug, the drug that can kill you, the drug that can get you hooked, the drug that can make you lose your family. The difference between the saw and the drug is the saw is a tool that should be respected. It has inherent dangers. It is dangerous. See, the D in drugs is drugs are dangerous. And we want you to understand that. We don't want you to feel like we're trying to keep you from something, or that, we're trying to hide something from you. But please understand that the D in drugs is danger. There is danger lurking around every corner for those that would experiment with drugs. So here's what we tell them. I won't try. I just simply won't go there. The R in drugs is how drugs change your reality. They change your reality on a multitude of levels. Some people will be using drugs and they'll get hooked on drugs because of a traumatic experience in their life. Or they'll use drugs to try to alleviate some pain that's going on in their life. True? We all know that. I mean, I've had two major back surgeries that cost almost $500,000. So listen, I understand that the reality after the surgery was I was in pain all the time. So the R in drugs is how drugs augment your reality. They do it physiologically, but they also do it emotionally. And what happens is that when you get into drug dependency, because you don't want to be where you are, drugs have a tendency, have the capacity to cause you to lose, let's say, reality, lose the stings of reality, numb the stings of realities in your life for a while. The R in drugs is it changes your reality. It changes what's real and what's not. And what happens is that you have a tendency to, when you're in drug use, that becomes your reality, which it's not. And when you're not using drugs, you don't like the reality. You don't like the real world. You don't like the real you. You don't like the family around you. You don't like the job that you have. You don't like yourself that you see in the mirror. And so drugs augment your reality. That's why we ask you don't try them. Because it gets you to a point where you don't know what's reality and what's not. The U in drugs. Are you ready for this? The U in our I Won't Try campaign, the drugs. The U is for how drugs are unpredictable. See, one day you can use the same drug and it can make you feel happy. The next day, it can cause you to go into an overdose. Why? Because you don't know the DNA and bloodline of that drug that you received from that dealer. You don't know the pedigree of that drug. Where was it manufactured? Where did it really come from? Yeah, you might be dealing with your homeboy that's giving you something on the side, but where did it come from? And there is such now in 2023, there is such an unpredictable landscape associated with drugs. As we were trying to tell young people, just don't try. Just don't try them. Why? Because the U in drugs stands for the unpredictability associated with drug use. The G in drugs is that drugs have sent people to an early grave. We're going to talk about this in a few minutes, but fentanyl poisoning and the scourge on our society that fentanyl has become has sent thousands of young people and adults to an early grave. And the reason why it's done that is because the results, if you just go back to the previous letter, the U in drugs is unpredictable. The results are unpredictable. So nobody sets out to use drugs and be sent to the grave. But that's what happens. There's so many mothers and fathers crying over pictures that's all they have left is pictures in frames. Because their child or their loved one has gone on to eternity because they took something that was unpredictable. They thought they had it figured out. But just when you think you got drugs figured out is the day that they can send you to the grave. This is why we're on a campaign, ladies and gentlemen. We're on a campaign today to get young people to just simply say, I won't try. I've got nothing to try this for. I won't try drugs. Now, the last one in drugs, the S in drugs, is drugs get you to a point where you can't stop. You know, you want to, you try, you can't, you go back, you relapse, you go over and over, and it feels like you're a hamster on a wagon wheel. Drugs make it so you can't stop using them. Like the more you use, the more you need to use. This is why we're trying to tell young people don't try. Don't even bring these things into your life. Because when you do, you might get into a position where you'll never be able to stop. Oh, it's just a little weed. Oh, it's just a little this. Until you have gone years and look back at your life and you realize, man, I've wasted so much of my life consuming a substance that I could not stop consuming. Ask yourself, if you're struggling with drug use, you're struggling with drug addiction, ask yourself, can I stop today and never pick this thing back up again? Ask yourself, how many times have you tried to stop? Ask how many times have you asked yourself or told yourself, man, I need to stop. It's a reality, and it's a sad reality. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid typically used to treat patients with chronic and severe pain and or severe pain following surgery. Fentanyl is a Schedule II controlled substance that is similar to morphine, but watch this, ladies and gentlemen, it's 100 times more potent. Under the supervision of a licensed medical professional, fentanyl has legitimate medical use. Patients prescribed fentanyl should be monitored for potential misuse and or abuse. One of the things that we're finding is that fentanyl, there's some facts about fentanyl that are killing folks. It's 50 times stronger than heroin. And we've already said 100 times more potent and stronger than morphine. There are two types of fentanyl. Pharmaceutical fentanyl that's legally prescribed and utilized by a licensed physician, and the fentanyl that's illegally made. Most recent deaths and fentanyl-related overdoses are linked to illegally made fentanyl, which is distributed through illegal drug markets for its heroin-like effect. It is so often added to other drugs because of its extreme potency, which makes drugs cheaper, more powerful, more addictive, and more dangerous. Listen, illegally made fentanyl is available in multiple forms. It's made in different forms, including liquid and powdered. Powdered fentanyl looks more like any other drug. It's commonly mixed with drugs like heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and made into pills, which are made to resemble other prescription opioids. Fentanyl-laced drugs are extremely dangerous, and many people have been unaware that their drugs are laced with fentanyl. In its liquid form, it can be found in nasal sprays, eye drops, and dropped into papers and small candies. I did a report not too long ago that there was a seizure at the border of fentanyl-laced pills that looked like Smartie candies. Fentanyl and other synthetic opioids are most common drugs involved in overdose deaths. Do you know that over 150 people die every day from overdoses related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl? And I have had people on this show, had a mom on this show who lost her son at 13 years old because he had some dental pain. And he reached out to somebody looking for a Percocet. And thinking that the Percocet would take away the pain, it wound up being pure fentanyl. Drugs may contain deadly levels of fentanyl, and you wouldn't be able to see it, taste it, or smell it. It's nearly impossible to tell if drugs have been laced with fentanyl unless you test it with fentanyl test strips. Here are some signs of an overdose that you need to be aware of. Small, constricted, pinpoint pupils, falling asleep or losing consciousness, slow, weak, or no breathing, choking or gurgling sounds, limp body, cold or clammy skin, discolored skin, especially in the lips. And one of the things that frustrates me with our I Won't Try campaign is that sometimes it just feels like the can is getting kicked down the proverbial road. But you can save a life. You can save lives if you know the warning signs that I just gave you and what you should do. First thing you should do, if you notice someone under those signs, call 911. Try to wake the person. Begin rescue breathing or CPR. Turn the person on their side to prevent choking. Stay with the person until emergency medical folks arrive. Fentanyl kills. And what I must warn you is that the lure of experimentation is superseding the fear of losing life. The lure of the experiment is superseding the reality that you could lose your life. So that's why I say drugs are dangerous. D, drugs augment your reality. R, drugs are unpredictable. U, drugs can send you to the grave. G, and drugs make it so you can hardly ever stop. S, this is why we say, I won't try drugs. Sit down with your kids today. Sit down with your family members today and just have a legitimate conversation about this topic because, listen, it's not going away. The numbers are not lying. And we're seeing people in the hundreds daily losing their life because they wanted to experiment, and the experiment leads them to death. It's time for all of us to take an acute aware posture and say, not only am I going to work with my kids, but I'm going to try to raise awareness around me that this fentanyl epidemic doesn't have to take another life. There doesn't have to be another life lost. Not on your watch. Sit down with your kids tonight and say, hey, listen, if someone comes to you and say, hey, man, you just want to try this, tell them, look, I appreciate it, but I'm not even going to try these things. It's just as simple as not taking the first try. Because like I said, sometimes when you take the first try can be your last. I won't try drugs. And my hope is that somebody will see this message, hear this broadcast today, and you'll say, listen, I've been kind of just going. I've been going to soccer and football and dance and ballet, but I've never really sat down with my kid and say, hey, listen, if someone ever offers you this, here's what I want you to do. Tell them you're not even going to try it. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to try, oh, here, have this on the house. Have this for free. We want you to try it. And then once they try it, the results could be catastrophic. I hope that just this little brief podcast today will help some moms and dads, young people, and adults realize that it's not worth the try anymore. It's just that simple. I won't try drugs. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been your friend CL King coming to you live from these beautiful high definition studios here in Impactville. We're looking forward to being with you all again real soon. Take care.